All right, let's take this question from Nological. What are your opinions on the new Walksnail X goggles? Well, I will tell you, although I haven't even unboxed my goggles yet, I did watch Mads Tech's review the minute it came out. I watched it with great jealousy because I like to be a part of the big review party. I like to have my, hat thrown in the ring, my opinion thrown in the ring. And I was a little jealous that I wasn't there and he was. But I have, started to form some opinions about these goggles. And I will say, if you are a Walksnail pilot first, I think these goggles are very tempting. And the reason that they're tempting is not the reason that you probably think. Well, maybe it is. The reason that they're tempting is that Walksnail says they're working on a new V2 of their radio system that has significantly better range and penetration than the current one. And these goggles will support that system. This top cover comes off, and the radio board is modular. So when Walksnail releases their new system, these goggles are going to support it, and the V1 goggles presumably will not. I'm going to guess that they will not. Otherwise, why did Walksnail make these goggles and not just keep making the other goggles? I don't know. So people right now are buying the V1 Walksnail goggles at a significant discount. Rotor Riot just marked them down, actually. Maybe that's why they marked them down. People were like, why are they marking them down? Maybe it has something to do with the release of the Goggles X and the knowledge that a new system is coming. But hang on, don't freak out. What are they down to now? Fat Shark Avatar goggles. Avatar. Oh my God. I don't understand why.
Dominator HD, right? It's not Avatar on their site.
Right. Nonsense. $380, right? That's really inexpensive. And this is a good goggle. It's well made. The main thing that the V1 goggle is lacking that this Goggles X has is HDMI pass-through and HDMI out. This goggle has USB out, but the Goggle X actually has HDMI, true HDMI. And then the other thing is that it has HDMI ins. So the Goggle X you could use with an HD0 standalone receiver, for example. And it has pass-through, which even the HD0 goggle doesn't have, as far as I know. So the concern that I have is if somebody was to buy the Dominator goggles today, or the Avatar V1, would they then not be able to take advantage of this new radio system that Walksnail says is coming? However, we have to remember that Walksnail has a history of teasing stuff that it takes them for freaking ever to actually release. They usually, historically, they do release it. When the Avatar goggle first released, Walksnail teased that they were working on a low latency racing mode. And then nothing happened for like 2 years. And then, whoa, low latency racing mode came out. Took a long freaking time. They teased these features. They have currently teased a video transmitter with HDMI input. That's pretty cool. When's it coming? Don't know. So Walksnail has said, I think they said August 2024 as the anticipated release date for their new V2 system with like 5 times the range and I don't know, blah, 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 promise the moon. So it's really tough to decide you're going to buy a product based on something that even Walksnail says will not happen for like 9 months. Since historically that means it won't happen for like 18 months or maybe more. But when it does happen and when it does live up to promises, it's going to be exciting. That's a lot of ifs though. The other thing is that like these goggles have just barely started hitting customers' hands. I have every expectation that the ones they sent to reviewers are wonderful. I hope. When there are 2,000 of these goggles in customers' hands, then we can start to form an opinion about them, because it's really too early now to really know. I mean, that's true of every new product, but like in this case, we have a brand new product made by Walksnail, and they don't, like when Skyzone releases a new goggle, just to pick on somebody, Skyzone knows how to make goggles. So when they release a new goggle, they have a certain amount of trust that they haven't done anything stupid and screwed it up. When Fat Shark releases a new goggle, we know exactly the dumb things that they're going to do. Right? Because they're the same dumb things that they've done for the last 5 goggles. But in general, we know that a Fat Shark goggle is going to be a solid piece of hardware that's going to work and perform pretty much as expected. This is Walksnail's first goggle. The Avatar goggle was, in my opinion, primarily designed by Fat Shark. Walksnail did the firmware. This is my speculation. This is not facts. But I believe that Walksnail did the firmware and the operating system. Fat Shark did the hardware design. Now Walksnail have done the hardware design on this one. I'm confident that Fat Shark was not involved because they don't have an SD card slot right in the middle of the forehead. And I just feel like the decisions that were made here were not Fat Shark decisions. So...